On Thanksgiving dinner, my in-laws mocked my cheap job and said I should be grateful to their son. I stayed quiet. Then my accountant called. Your company's buyout just cleared, $22 million. I put the call on speaker. The room went silent down to its breath. I'm telling you the truth, Jenna, it still feels like my hands are shaking. It was Thanksgiving dinner, but the whole day felt like I wasn't a guest, just some house help who got accidentally seated at the dining table. All of us had gathered at Jeff's parents' house in that small Texas suburb, the same beige siding house, the same heavy curtains, the same fake smile atmosphere that shows up every year. I had thought maybe this time things would be better, but you know how they are. The moment I set the vegetable casserole on the table, my mother-in-law gave that same smile, you know, the one that's actually soaked in sarcasm. Oh honey, you're still doing that cheap little accounting job? Jeff could easily support you. A woman should be a little practical, you give him unnecessary stress. The whole table laughed. Even Jeff. He didn't even put a hand on my shoulder. Just laughed like I was the punchline. It felt like someone had mixed a little humiliation into the smell of the food. I didn't say anything. If I spoke, I would have cried, and you know, my mother-in-law treats a woman's tears like trophies. Then his brother swirled his wine glass and said, you couldn't even afford a mortgage without Jeff. Seriously, you're lucky he married down. Married down. That phrase is still stuck in my ears. I started counting the patterns in the carpet with the toe of my shoe so my eyes wouldn't fill up. You know, I spent 3 years building my company, no weekends, no vacations, coding sessions after the kids fell asleep, but in their eyes, I was just Jeff's wife. No story of my own, no identity. I had barely picked up a small piece of turkey when my phone vibrated. It was my accountant, Tom. He never calls on Thanksgiving unless something major is happening. I tried to ignore it by putting the phone on silent, but the call came again. Jeff smirked. Maybe her discount job is finally giving her a raise. Everyone laughed again. I swear, Jenna, that laughter is still sitting in my chest. I picked up the phone, my hand slightly trembling. Tom? Everything okay? Tom's voice was unusually steady. It's done. The buyout cleared. $22 million. Effective today. I think I was in shock. You know that feeling when happiness hits you like someone shoved you hard? I didn't know what to say. I just braced my hand on the table and tried to breathe. My father-in-law said in a sarcastic tone, what happened? Another bill. Without thinking, I pressed the button under the call and put it on speaker. Tom, can you repeat that? I think everyone wants to hear it. Tom paused for a moment, then said, sure. Congratulations. Your company's buyout went through. $22 million. Funds will reflect by morning. Jenna, the room actually stopped for a moment. Like an invisible vacuum sucked up all the noise. Jeff's glass almost slipped from his hand. His mother looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. I ended the call, set the phone on the table, and placed the knife back on the turkey. The entire table was dead quiet. Even an ant walking could have made a sound. My mother-in-law cleared her throat. Buyout? You sold your company? I said in a calm voice, yes. 3 years of work. You all said it was a cheap job. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe you just never knew what I was actually doing. Jeff suddenly looked unsettled. Why didn't you tell me? $22 million is. I mean, why wasn't I included? I looked at him. The same man who tells me, don't stress, I'll handle the bills. Your job is, you know, just something to pass time. The same man who yelled at me yesterday for not keeping up with house chores while I was literally fixing the final valuation of my company on my laptop. I quietly said, because you never even asked. Then my mother-in-law delivered the line I will hear in my head for the rest of my life. So I guess you don't need Jeff's money anymore? I put the knife down, wiped my hands, and sat up straight. Jeff's money? I'm starting to wonder if I even need Jeff. Jenna, the way Jeff's face changed, it was like someone switched the spotlight. His father lowered his eyes. His sister, who'd spent all day throwing passive-aggressive comments at me, just stared with her mouth open. I stepped out to the patio. The air was cold. My hands had a bit of tremble, but I felt the strangest relief. You know that feeling when 3 years of struggle finally shows its weight? Jeff followed me. Listen, maybe we said things wrong, but you could have told us. I cut him off. Jeff, you never noticed anything I did. You just believed whatever your family said. You always considered me less. Today, life just held up a mirror for you. He tried to respond, but the words got stuck. Maybe for the first time, he was seeing me not as a weak woman, but as someone with choices. When I walked back inside, my father-in-law forced a smile. Well, congratulations. We're proud of you. For the first time, I gave him a small smile back. Thanks. And don't worry, I won't be asking anyone for help with the mortgage. My mother-in-law's face froze like stone. After dinner, I picked up my purse, put on my coat, and walked out. Jeff followed, but I said, I want to drive alone. I need to think. Now I'm sitting at the edge of my bed, talking to you. 22 million isn't what's changing my life, my attitude is. For the first time, I feel like I can actually make my own decisions. And Jenna, I learned something today. Sometimes people don't see your worth until you shine in front of them in dollar signs. But they'll never understand the price of that moment when, for the first time, you say from the inside, I'm enough. I always was. You just never saw it. This story isn't over. But today I won. And even in walking away, I didn't lose anything. Just shed a little weight from my heart. And yes, I didn't reheat the turkey.